Hello and welcome. I'm Bernadette Schwerdt. I'm the founder of the Australian School of Copywriting, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're interested in learning how to craft your copywriting pitch, this is the session for you, because one of the things that happens when you're out and about meeting people just randomly is they'll ask you, what do you do? And if you don't have a good, cogent answer about what you do and why you're a copywriter and what you do for other people, it's a missed opportunity. And I have to be honest, in the early phase of my career, I didn't do this very well. I used to say a whole range of things that were very unclear and very confusing, and I left those meetings thinking I could have done that better. So this is what this session is about, to give you some tips and hints on how you can make those casual chats with people a lot more productive. So today you're going to learn how to find your niche, so get laser focused on who you want to target, and secondly, how to craft your pitch to create the script that turns casual conversations into paying clients. So first up, you might be asking, well, what do you want to write about? What kind of copy should you actually create? What kind of business do you really want to offer to the world? And my response to that is, write what you know. You can write about things you don't know, but that's just going to take a lot more time, might be a bit more stressful. You may not have those people in your network. Whereas if you write about something that you already know, then all those things are already there. And it's just going to make life a lot easier in those early days. So this begs the question about finding your niche. And niche is really just a subset of something. So there's pros and cons of niches, and I'll explain those in just a minute. But first up, you don't need a niche. You could write for anyone, any topic, any category, any kind of copy that you want. But some of the reasons why you might want a niche might make your business succeed more quickly. So what niching does is it focuses your attention on who you need to target. So a bit like this magnifying glass, if you hover it over something, it just generates heat and it makes things move and it gets momentum more quickly. If you spread yourself thin and you're everything to everybody, then it just takes a bit longer potentially to get those clients coming in. So if you do want to get quick action, quick results, I do recommend focusing your energy. And on a very practical level, if you think about, if you were to go out and network right now, or just join some kind of event or meetup group, whatever it might be, which one would you pick, right? There's so many. But if you know exactly who you want to be in front of and the kind of copy you want to write, then that instantly narrows down your choice and enables you to start networking very, very quickly. So you can start wide. Like I personally have never niched, right? So it doesn't have to be, anything like that. You can sort of start wide, or you can just go narrow later on. So what I'm trying to say is, don't not take an opportunity that comes your way because you say, well, I don't niche on that one. So take it, say yes to everything, I would say. But just so you know, you can change as you go. There are so many types of copywriting that is open to you. It could be brand copywriting, direct response, SEO, content, social media, email, technical, creative, PR, user experience and product descriptions. There's so many opportunities for copywriters right now. And you might have a particular love of something. So you could actually do a deep dive into the speciality of copywriting, or you could say, no, I want to do everything for everybody, but you just specialize in a particular industry. So you might be thinking, well, which industry should you specialize in, or what category? And I love this model that Jim Collins created in his Good to Great book. And he called it the hedgehog concept, whereby the question is, what are you deeply passionate about? So what is the first thing that you would love to write about? What do you do normally? What do you love reading about? What podcasts do you listen to? What's a topic du jour for you that, just really energizes you? And by the way, you can write copy for everything, because every business needs copy. So don't think, oh, I love dogs, therefore, but nobody's going to want me to write about dogs. Yeah, they will. Dog grooming, dog accessories, vets, etc. Vet medicines and pharmaceuticals, all sorts of opportunities to write about dogs, not to mention all the other pets. So whatever you love, really try and hone in on that, because it won't feel like work. If you're already loving that topic, when you have to research it and read further, it won't feel like an arduous activity. The second thing to think about is, what can you be the best in the world at? Now, that's a very strong statement. You don't need to be the best, but what what are you good at? Like, what do you know a lot about already? What do you know that maybe others don't know? So that could be a sweet spot for you. And the last one is what drives your economic engine. And by that, I mean, will they pay for you? Is there money in the budget for this particular, endeavor? And the reality is, yes, every business has a marketing budget, some bigger than others, but they all need to market themselves. They all need copy. So again, it doesn't matter what the industry is, there will be money for copywriters. So the sweet spot, that orange bit in the middle, is your niche. And I'll give you a quick example. One of my students, Ruth Megan, I coached Ruth, and she had 3 passions, which was food, wine, and tourism. And I said, okay, out of all of those, which ones can you, focus on? She said, I love them all. I said, well, you can, but what's the thing that you totally love? If you had to give up, what would it be that you just can't live without? She said, wine. I said, great, wine is it. So we went through that hedgehog complex and all the concept. And I said, do you know anyone in the wine industry? She said, well, not really. I love it and I drink a lot of it and I know a fair bit about it, but I don't really know anyone. And I said, well, why not just go to seek.com, wine copywriter, be really obvious. And she did. And there was a job there for Treasury Estates, and she got the job, even though she had no experience in wine copywriting at all. She had experience in other, writing forms, and she got the job. And she's been there probably 4 years now, and it's completely transformed her life. She was a single mom, and she was sort of, jumping job to job, and now she's got this amazing job doing what she loves, and she literally goes around the country, drinks wine and talks about it and writes about it. So everything's possible. Don't think just because you love it, you couldn't possibly be paid for it, because you certainly can. Another student of mine is Sophia Auld, and Sophia was a physiotherapist, and she decided that as much as she loves that, she wants to transition into writing. So she merged those two worlds. So she was really good at physio. She really loved it. And also there was an opportunity for economic engine, because so many other physiotherapists need good copy. So when she was, presenting herself to them, it made sense, because she was good at what she did. She knew a lot about it, and she was able to understand their needs and concerns. So that was her LinkedIn about profile, and it was just really clear. And I really encourage you just to screenshot that and have a look at that and think, well, how can you amend that to suit your particular sweet spot and niche that you are targeting? So number 2, let's have a look at how to refine your pitch. So once you've got your idea about what you want to do and who you want to be in front of, and maybe you go to Try Booking or Eventbrite and you find out some events that might be happening. And by the way, there's work right outside your front doorstep. Like the minute you leave the home and you're talking to people, be it people at the supermarket, at the sporting oval, at school pickup, at parties, barbecues, airplanes, and people say, what do you do? These are the kinds of things you need to be thinking about. So this is how to pitch, all right? How to turn casual conversations into converted clients. So the first one was, this is what I used to say, don't do that. People say, what do you do? I said, oh, a bit of everything, because I did a lot of different things. Then I got a bit, wise to that, and I'm just starting out as a copywriter. So again, that sort of novice edge that you don't really want to promote. And the third one was, I'm a nurse, but trying to make it as a copywriter. So that was more about, this was my previous occupation. I'm now transitioning into this copywriting world, which is fine, but it would be better if I'm a nurse who specializes in health copywriting, so rather than I used to be this and now I'm this, it's like, these are the 2 things I do. And the last one, I write the words for emails, landing pages, and websites that make people buy. So that 4th one is probably the closest that you can take in terms of, using it to let people know what you do and how you do it and what's in it for them. So here's a template that you can use so that you can fill in the gaps as needed. So it's I help, insert target market, and then insert feature, so that insert benefit. Okay, so that doesn't make sense right now, but I'll give you some examples. I help yoga studios use Facebook effectively so that every class they run is full. So you might notice that we haven't actually mentioned the word copy in this. It's more about the outcome that copy gives. And that's the thing I would actually encourage you to think about too, is people don't just buy an email or a Facebook post or a blog. They buy what those things give them, which is sales and profits and clients and leads and conversions, etc., which again leads to profit. So do focus on what the copy gives rather than just the actual mechanism by which it gets delivered. Another example, I help authors create an awesome website so they can sell more books at a higher margin and get high paid speaking jobs. So again, just copywriting, but you help people write the copy for the website that helps those authors make more money. So do think about the bigger picture about how the copy fits into the wider ecosystem. The third point to consider is building a list. Okay, so if you don't want to go and do that just random, casual conversations, which I do encourage you to do, right? Because the work is out there, and often the work will come from people family, friends, colleagues, even the people you're working with right now, or even the company you're working with right now. That could be an opportunity that a lot of people just overlook. And I've often said this to students, what about the company you're working for right now? Could you write copy for them? Oh, yeah, never thought about that. They might need an email, a newsletter, a blog, and, do it for free in the initial stages. Get some runs on the board, get some experience, get some, content in your portfolio, and then start charging for it. But, you're already there. You may as well use that time wisely. So there's a couple of ways in which you get your warm list in terms of an email. Rocket Reach enables you to grab an email address from anybody that you don't know, but maybe you want to target that particular group, like the marketing manager for Treasury Wine Estate, for example. These things are not difficult to get if you just work backwards and find out what the email address for the rest of the company is. LinkedIn, of course, is a gold mine, because if your first connection with someone and you click on contact info, that will give you all their contact details. So you don't get that if you're a second connection, but if you're first, you generally can find out their email address as well. So make a list, and this is exactly what Sophia All did, the woman I just referred to. She'd never built a copywriting business, and so she just went through and found out all the physiotherapists and sort of health allied companies that she wanted to work with, made up a warm email list, and then she sent this particular email. And now this is not exactly what she said. I've just amended it for privacy reasons, but this is basically what she said. The subject line was, "I admire what you're doing." And I'll just talk about that for a second. These people may not know, that they're getting an email from you. So you don't want to just go in for the kill, if you like, can I write copy for you? They're like, well, I don't even know you. So it's a bit like asking someone to marry you, marry them before they've even had a cup of coffee. So go gently, be respectful, be complimentary, and also do a bit of research so that it doesn't just look like it's a copy and pasted email. So she said, "Hi, I admire what you're doing." Now that wasn't actually her subject line, it was something else, but this is what I've amended it to be. You can't not look at that, right? You're going to open that email. "Hi, personal name. I couldn't help but notice that your organisation has been leading the way in publishing patient safety figures." Now, the reason I've highlighted that bit there is because that was her research that she did that found that it was unusual about what they were doing. That was the compliment that she was making to them. So it proved that she'd done her research. She wasn't just, copy and pasting. And then that really caught my attention. It's refreshing to see a company focus on transparency and innovation. So again, those were the two little fields that she was playing with for each person that she talked to. I was wondering, do you ever work with freelance writers to help write your marketing or educational materials? I spent 25 years as a physiotherapist, and I now use my healthcare expertise to help healthcare brands create web, blog, and email content that educates their audience and drives sales. If this sounds like something worth exploring, would it make sense to find 15 minutes for a quick chat? I'd love to see if we could work together. All the best. Now, that one email that Sophia sent generated about $25,000 in the first year of income. And by the third year, she was up to $100,000. I mean, yeah, $100,000 per year. So it might start slow, but you've got to be consistent. You've got to be persistent, but just keep doing the basics and it will follow. And now she's, flourishing. So that's some ideas on how you can actually create your copywriting pitch, both verbally, and once you've built a little bit of an audience, then how to email them and reach out to them and ask them to work with you. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. If you haven't, there's a couple of questions that often come up. Is that, do you need to tell people that you're new? And there's two answers to that. One, yes, you can be very transparent. Say, look, I've never done this before. I'm looking for some guinea pigs to work on, and that's completely fine. But if you want to just, position yourself more as not just a novice, but more as a professional who's transitioning from one career to another, you can say, well, I've been a nurse for 25 years or a physiotherapist. I've always written, and now I'm just, making it more of a focus of what I do. And I'm using my 25 years experience to educate my clients on how, they can leverage my experience. So you can sort of say it without saying I'm brand new, right? Because that's kind of not what you want to do, unless, again, you want to be totally transparent and just look for guinea pigs. And the last question, I guess, before, if nobody's got any question, is where do you find these people? And I've sort of touched on that, but basically they're everywhere. Everyone you talk to either has a business or knows someone who has a business. And sometimes they're in the most logical places. Like one student I was talking to, she said, where do I find business? I said, well, what's your partner do? He goes, oh, he's a plumber. I said, has he got his own business? Yeah. So, oh, well, there you go. There's your first starting point, is write copy for your partner. So sometimes these things are right under our noses and we forget. So as long as you practice your pitch, rehearse it, get clear with it, get confident so you don't stumble over it. And the next time someone asks you at a social function or one of those events that I mentioned earlier, what do you do? Just say it and see what happens. And yes, it'll feel like you're a fraud and an imposter because you've never done it before, but eventually it'll just become natural. And then they'll ask some questions and it becomes a conversation. And eventually that just becomes a lead because they want what you've got. So there's a couple of ideas to get you started. I hope it's been helpful to you. All the best.